Okay, we are back and we are live here on a Tuesday post-Memorial holiday weekend. Eddie Trunk, Trunk Nation, talking rock with you every day live, noon to 2 Pacific, 3 to 5 Eastern, anytime on the SiriusXM app. And last time I had the pleasure of having this guy in studio. We were at my house here in Vegas, and you were wandering around with your dog trying to find my door, and I had to put out an all points bulletin to find Geezer. But now we've got this great new studio here inside the Wynn, and Geezer Butler has rejoined us once again. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, Eddie.
How you doing? You good? You looking good?
Yes.
Yeah?
Got me my granddaughter beard frightener.
Granddaughter beard frightener. Your granddaughter gets freaked out when she sees you with the gray beard?
Yeah, she won't look at me.
Is that by design? You don't want her looking at you? Did you want your granddaughter looking at you? You want to scare her off?
Well, no, I didn't ask her to be scared. She's never seen. I did a Zoom with her today, and she's never seen me with a beard. She's only 18 months.
Oh, I see.
And she's. I think she thought I was Santa Claus come too early.
So you've been living here in Vegas for a little while now. How do you like it? Because following you on social media, you get out and you see some shows and you seem to really be taking it in. You went to the Stones, you went to Adele.
Yeah.
You like
Taylor Swift with the grandkids.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What do you make of that and how huge she is?
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't really know. I think I knew like 2 songs.
Yeah.
But the actual production was just incredible.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's what
and
I hear.
Also saw U2 at the Sphere, which is another incredible show.
What did you think of the Sphere in terms of like the audio and the video and the building itself?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Kind of game changing, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're just surrounded by the whole thing. It's like another planet.
Did you get, when people go to the Sphere, they immediately start to think about their favorite bands they'd love to see play in there. Do you have a favorite band that you'd love to see play in that setting?
I can't really. It'd have to be somebody visual like U2.
Right.
No, not really. Not off the top of my head.
The big one that everybody says would be Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah, something like that. Pink Floyd or what's his name? Roger Waters.
Right, or Gilmore. I mean, they don't operate together, but even if they came together, it'd be the biggest thing in the world.
Somebody that puts on a big production would be great for it.
Yeah, because they used to do those planetarium shows, and they used to do stuff with lasers even back in the 70s. So,
yeah. I went to see them in the 70s when they had that great big pig flying over your head.
Exactly. What did you make of the Stones?
Well, I love the Stones anyway.
Right.
I think Jagger is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to. I mean, I'm sort of a traditionalist. I grew up with Brian Jones, like the original Stones. So it's weird seeing just Jagger and Richards and not Charlie Watts even.
Right.
But it was good show.
Do you know those guys?
No.
Okay. I mean, it's got to be. A lot of people have commented it's kind of inspiring in a way to see Jagger up there at nearly 81 doing that, isn't it?
Yeah, and he doesn't look like an old bloke trying to be young. He looks like a young bloke.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. And what do you like artists like Adele? Do you like that kind of music?
Well, as I said to Gloria, she's again I took the granddaughter. So. I said to Gloria, it's like a once in a generation voice that she's got. She's got her voice is just out of this world. It's incredible.
Yeah. There's never a shortage of stuff to do here in this town, obviously, and I got to thank you on the air once again for playing my party, my 40th in radio party in December. That was the second one you were at because, of course, you and Tony and Ronnie and Vinny came to the one in New York for 30.
Yeah.
But you didn't play, but you came and for a little bit, which I appreciate. But for you to get up and open that thing in December and play a couple songs is something I'm so grateful for. So thank you. Did you enjoy it? Did you have a good time?
Certainly did. Yeah, it was great talking to all the like Sammy Hagar and people out there I haven't seen for years and years. It's great meeting up with them all again. And what's it from Van Halen?
Yeah. Well, I didn't. Well, right. Well, no, Sammy was in the band when Van Halen opened for Sabbath. But that's the thing I heard from everybody is they love just kind of reconnecting with some people at that.
Yeah.
Michael Anthony was like, he was here last week. He was super excited that he got to play with Alice Cooper that night. And that all just organically happened like that.
It was great meeting up with him again because I haven't seen him since the Van Halen Sabbath tour. So, you know.
With Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
And Kip Winger. I
Yeah.
haven't seen him for years. My mind's gone now.
How did you feel about playing with Jay Buchanan came out and sang Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and then Corey Taylor came out and did The Wizard? I mean, how did that feel for you?
I thought Corey was incredible.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Buchanan, we changed the song and he didn't know the lyrics.
Right.
So he was just like making it up at the last minute kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was good to see him again because I love that band.
Yeah, I love Rival Sons as well. Yeah, Jay, I think it was the bridge part in Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. He just kind of ad-libbed through it a little bit.
Yeah, because I can't remember what the original song was supposed to be, but the guitarist changed it like the day before.
I think originally it was going to be The Wizard. I think it was going to be The Wizard, and then they changed, because I wanted Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and then I think he did that for me. So that's kind of why Brent did that. But it still came off amazingly. It was so cool to see that. How did it feel I mean, you haven't played on stage in front of an audience in a while, right?
No.
And that was the last time you did it, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
How did it feel for you to be up there, to make you feel like you
Great,
want to play a
but,
little bit?
I definitely found out that 2 songs is about all I can do these days.
Why?
Because I was passing exhausted after it.
2 songs? Come on. You just saw Jagger get up there at 81 and play a whole festival, a whole stadium show, man.
Well, that's Jagger.
You could do it, Geese.
Yes, I'm sure.
You could do it, I'm sure.
I could.
So anyway, again, thank you for that. Now, your book, Into the Void, was phenomenal. And we talked about it at length when it came out. You called in and we did that interview. And now it's coming out on paperback on June 18th.
Yeah.
You have an audiobook for it out now as well. Since it's been a little bit and the book's been out there and people have had a chance to read it and take it in, how has the response been? What are some of the things you've been hearing?
It's just been, well, people aren't going to tell me that it's crap, so.
They might.
Yeah.
Social media, they
people
say
might.
anything.
Yeah. No, it's been a really good response for a positive response, and the publishing company are incredibly happy with it. So.
And you went around the world. You really worked promoting it, right? You went to other parts. You
Not
went,
as
you went
much
to
as the
England,
one
right?
Yeah, at Waterstones in England, in London. I did, and then I actually just came from Denver. We did a thing at the Gothic Theatre there.
With Brian Posehn, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I saw that online as well. I know Brian.
Yeah.
So those kind of like speaking shows, or somebody just guides you through talking about the book with an audience?
The Brian Posehn one was a one-off.
Okay.
But the Waterstones one was just me sitting there signing books.
Do you want to do any more of that stuff?
Yeah.
Because, Geddy Lee put out a book, and he's gone around and done some of that where he actually brings an audience.
He did tons of promotion for it.
Right.
Whereas I'm too lazy.
But he brought an audience. He did it like you did with Brian in a theater with an audience.
That's
and turned
right.
it into more of a speaking show.
Yeah.
And I think you had mentioned to me in the past that might be something you'd be interested in doing, right?
Well, it started off in England like 30 years ago. A lot of sports people do it, go out and do talk shows at theatres and stuff for the fans. And then lately, Tony's done one, the whole of England. Bruce Dickinson's just done one throughout Britain.
Right.
And so it's getting more and more popular.
Was there anything in the book that, now that it's been out and so many people had a chance to read it, that people got wrong, or that you want to clarify, or that you're hearing that people misread or took away from it differently?
I don't think so, no.
So you're comfortable with all, any of the response to it and what people have taken from it.
Yeah, I just wish I could have put all the stuff that was censored in it.
What kind of stuff was censored?
Well, I can't tell you, can I? 'Cause it was censored.
But what was the subject matter of it, and why would it be censored?
Things like business, a lot of business stuff.
Okay. Old managers and things like that.
Old managers and the way we got screwed and stuff like that in the early days. Just things like that.
Who told you that couldn't be in there? The publisher?
Publishers, yeah.
Over legal stuff?
Yeah, they were terrified of being sued by these people. They even wanted to take out. There's a part about when Ian Gillan, when we were doing the Born Again album, Ian Gillan crashed Bill Ward's car and made a song called Trashed on the Born Again album.
Right.
And they wanted me to get written permission from Ian Gillan that he had actually crashed the car.
Oh,
and
come on.
I said, not only did he crash the car, we did a video of it.
Right.
And it was in all the metal magazines and everything of us standing outside the car on fire. And they wanted me to get written proof from Ian Gillan that he'd done it. Because they were so scared of being sued by him.
It's so over the top.
Yeah,
some of that stuff.
ridiculous.
It is really ridiculous. Did you these people that you didn't write about that ripped you off, and it's well known that Sabbath was so ripped off early on in terms of the dealings you had, managers, people you worked with, because if I recall, it's been a while since I read the book, but there's actually, if I remember, you had a guy. Your initial guy that ripped you off, you left him over it, but then you ended up coming back to him again, didn't you?
Yeah, Don Arden, yeah. He didn't rip us off in the first place. We didn't go with him in the first place because he didn't. We asked him what percentage he was going to put in the contract, and he says, I'll fill that in later. So we said, well, fill it in now so we know how much we're paying you. And, no, you either trust me or you don't. So we didn't go with him, but eventually we ended up with him towards the end of the 70s.
Why were they so worried, given that I would imagine most of these people aren't alive anymore, right?
Well, he isn't, but
Right.
there wasn't that much said about him.
Right.
But our second manager, Wilf Pine, was a member of the, I can't remember what family it is in New York, mafia family in New York. And they said, oh, you can't prove that. And I said, not only can I prove it, there's a book out called One of the Family, the only Englishman to join the mafia. And they said, well, you can't put that. And there's a picture of the book. So they finally gave in.
That's the tough part about writing books, is just trying to push all that through and get people to understand that you're just trying to tell a story, and everybody's just so sensitive about it, worried about it.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
the cancel culture gone mad.
Yeah. No, I trust me. Don't get me started on that. Well, so you're going to continue to promote this, obviously. Paperback coming out on June 18th.
Yeah.
And it's just another layer and level to get it out there. Now, on the audiobook, I've not heard the audiobook, but you read it yourself?
That's right, yeah. And I was terrified reading it because it was like you do a sentence and they go, no, you got to do that again. It's like, what's wrong with it? Just do it again. So it wasn't an enjoyable experience for me as somebody that hates talking on microphones.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of people said that they really liked the fact that it was me that did the audio because it came from the heart kind of thing.
Yeah, most people that I've talked to who have read their own audiobooks, they don't enjoy doing it. It's not only is it tedious, but you're reading your own stuff back
that you've read about 1,000 times.
Right. Did they cut in anything extra? Were you able to ad-lib anything? Because I've turned.
No, you had to do it word for word.
Because people have told me, musicians who've done audiobooks, sometimes if you're talking about an old demo or something and you have the audio, they'll actually drop in some of the audio as well.
No, there was none of that.
Okay.
I mean, I missed out one line and they made me come back into the studio to put the one line back in. So that's how perfect it has to be.
Going back to things that were edited out of the book, the song The Writ, that was about a bad contract, right?
That was about the Patrick Moon that allegedly ripped us off. Allegedly.
See, I see what you did there. Is he still alive?
Yeah,
He is.
yeah. As far as I know, anyway.
So that's why you're saying allegedly, obviously.
But an Ozzy wrote those lyrics.
Ozzy wrote the writ.
Wrote those lyrics, yeah.
Why is how many songs did Ozzy write lyrics to in Sabbath? Because you almost did them all, I think.
Maybe 3 or 4.
The writ was one of them, huh?
Yeah.
Why didn't he write more lyrics?
He just got used to passing it on to me. I mean, he used to ad lib. Tony would come up with most of the music, or we'd jam together. Tony would come up with most of the music, and Ozzy would just like come out with sporadic vocal lines and just like make up words on the spot. But then those words would get stuck in his head and they wouldn't mean anything because he'd just make them up. So he left it to me to write the lyrics.
Did you know in previous bands or anything that you had that ability?
Nope.
You just got thrown into it?
I was just really good at English at school, English literature and stuff. And I was the only one in the band that read books, so...
Right. The song Black Sabbath, what were you writing that about?
About this appearance that I thought was the devil.
The orb you talk about in your book?
No, and this is much later when I was in the band.
Right.
It's called Earth. And I was into my black magic phase. And I had the place where I lived was all painted black with inverted crosses all over the walls and everything, and pictures of the devil. And
you were into that at the time?
I was, severely into it. And it was a big thing in England at the time. The Stones had their Satanic Majesty's Request album. There was Arthur Brown with his I Am the God of Hellfire. And there was this big interest in like Satanism and black magic. And I was really into it because I was like brought up severely Catholic, so I wanted to see the other side of it. Mm. And this one night, I just felt really horrible, terrible feeling came over me, and I was trying to get to sleep, and I opened my eyes, and there was this figure, and that was where the thing, "What is this that stands before me?" came from.
So this was your whole thing with being into the occult and everything. That was before you were even in Sabbath, then, right? Or the years leading into the first record, because that song's obviously on the first record.
Yeah, when we were Earth, we were called Earth before Black Sabbath,
right?
And I was into all that stuff when we were called Earth. And then when we wrote the song Black Sabbath, I said, let's just call the band after the first song that we've written, Black Sabbath.
Was anybody else in the band into that stuff too?
Tony was into it a little bit.
And how did it manifest itself with you? Was it more of a curiosity, or did you see more things that made you convinced you it was real? And
it was a big trend at the time. I mean, it was just after all the hippie crap was fading out. Right. And people were getting like, there was a lot of immigration in England at the time, a lot of different, because I was brought up Catholic, and it was just like Catholics and Protestants where I was brought up. And then suddenly there was this influx of Hindus and Muslims and all these different religions. And the Beatles had gone to India for the Maharishi stuff, meditation and all that kind of stuff. And people were looking for other things apart from Christianity. And a lot of us were into there's all these magazines coming out called Man, Myth and Magic and stuff like that, all this satanic stuff, and it was just a phase that people were going through.
Alister Crowley, that was that whole scene too, right?
Yeah, Alister Crowley, yeah.
Which of course Ozzy would have a song. Zach Wilde told me a funny story once because he said that Ozzy would do the song Mr. Crowley, and one day he said, Ozzy said something to Zach like, they were talking about what we're talking about right now. And he said, well, yeah, Alister Crowley. And Ozzy goes, well, who the hell is that? And Zach goes, it's the guy you've been singing around about for 40 years. Because in his solo career, most of Ozzy's lyrics were written by Bob Daisley.
Yeah.
So he didn't have any idea he was singing Mr. Crowley about for 40 years. It was hysterical. What was? There's a million things I could ask you, but my audience would love to, of course, ask you a question, and I'm sure many of them have read the book. But this ties in with your book because one of the most hysterical stories in your book, when I read it, that I was laughing out loud at, was your interest and everyone's interest and Tony's interest in lighting Bill Ward on fire.
That was Tony's thing.
But there's a scene, or there's a moment in the book where you say that Tony said to Bill, come over here. I want to light you on fire. And Bill said, no, not right now. I've got to go home. And then a little while later, he came back and volunteered. Yeah, Tony, you can light me on fire now.
He'd actually left the studio, and then he must have been thinking about it outside. And he came back in and went, oh, go on then, you can light me on fire.
And you say in the book that at that time, he was so badly hurt that his mom wanted to go after Tony or something, right?
Yeah, he ended up in hospital because all his trousers had melted into his legs. And at one point, he thought he was going to have one of his legs cut off. Because it's literally his trousers and socks had melted into his skin.
Was this something you did on a regular basis with Bill?
Tony was always setting his beard on fire. But at this time, Tony just went over the top because he had permission from Bill. And we were mixing Heaven and Hell at the time in London.
Oh, this was later?
Yeah.
Oh, this was around
on the Heaven and Hell album.
Oh, wow.
And, the stuff that you use to clean off the mixing boards.
It's alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol.
Yeah.
And he sprayed it all over Bill and just threw a match on him. And he just went up like a...
How many times did you say that Tony lit Bill on fire?
Well, that was the last time. But probably once a month.
Holy shit. Tony was on this show with me last week on the phone. And I wish I would have brought that up to him because next time I'm going to do so because I'd love to know, or Bill, I'd love to know both of their ideas of what they were thinking. Unless they were so out of their mind, they didn't even know what the hell they were doing. I don't know.
It was Tony because he was always playing pranks on people. And with Bill, as soon as Bill's beard would get long enough, Tony would light it on fire.
When we talk about the great Sabbath songs and the lyrics, most of them which you wrote, the song NIB always gets targeted as, when you talk about the occult and stuff, it's standing for nativity in black. You say that's actually not the case, right?
It was actually about Bill's beard.
So this big satanic song is about Bill's beard?
Yeah, I couldn't think what to call it. So and at the time, Bill had this beard, and it was like in a point, and it looked like a pen nib. And so we used to call him Nib. And Tony says, I'll just call it Nib. So I said, we can't just call it Nib. So I put down N-I-B and let everybody guess what it meant.
Did you like to do that a lot? Like fuck with people, like come up with like things and titles and just feed people?
That was the main one that people have always been going on about. Oh, it's got to stand for more than Bill's beard.
I'm running the lyrics through my head right now. The lyrics don't really match that though, do they?
The lyrics are about the devil falling in love. It's sort of a satire. It's
right.
Like of all the people that can promise you the earth and the sky and everything else, it's either the God or the devil can do that. So it was like about the devil falling in love with somebody and promising the earth and the sky and everything.
When Ronnie came into the band, were you happy to not write lyrics anymore? Or did you miss it?
I hated writing lyrics towards the end because it got to the point where Ozzy wouldn't even read them. And I just got disillusioned writing them. And 'cause a lot of the time, Ozzy sort of lost a lot of interest in what we were doing. And it became harder and harder to get him to read the lyrics. So when Ronnie came in, wrote his own lyrics, I absolutely loved it because I could just concentrate on my bass parts then.
Two of the biggest songs in the whole Sabbath catalog Last time, a few interviews ago, when we were talking about Iron Man, I was shocked at the time because you told me that's actually about Jesus, right?
It's not about Jesus. It was inspired by the parable of when Jesus went to Jerusalem as a hero, and then a few weeks later, he was like nailed to the cross for being a blasphemer. So that sort of inspired the idea of like a hero 1 minute and then like downtrodden the next, or villainized the next.
Probably the other biggest song in Sabbath's whole catalog is "Paranoid." When you wrote that one, what was the inspiration? What were you thinking?
I was
about?
going through a bad time mentally at the time. I was getting like these depressions, which was followed on from the pressing black magic crap, and a lot of my relatives suddenly started dying, and I got really, really depressed, and this blackness descended on me. It was really horrible, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So when I wrote the lyrics to Paranoid, it was about trying to get out of this horrible blackness that I was going through. And I always remember I went to the doctor to try and explain to him what was happening to me. And he said, "Oh, just go down the pub and have 2 pints, you'll feel better. Or go and walk your dog." And I said, "No, that's not going to work. It's something else. I can't, it's this horrible depression. I can't get out of it." And the only way I could get out of it was to write the lyrics to Paranoid.
So, yeah, because that was long before, for mental health, there was probably a lot of medications didn't exist.
They're just people used to think that you were moody,
Yeah.
that you were miserable.
Were there therapists at that time that would see you for your condition?
Nope, nobody. Not until well into the end of the 90s when I saw somebody in America, and they finally said, "Oh, you're having a nervous breakdown. You got to go on this medicine or be treated for it." And that was the first time I was properly treated.
And how do you do now with everything?
I'm fine now, yeah.
Yeah. Was it therapeutic for you to write lyrics most of the time?
Absolutely, yeah. It was the only way I could express myself, because if you'd say to your friends or anything that you're feeling down, they'd just say, "Oh, get out of it, have a couple of pints or whatever and you'll be all right." And it's not that. You can't explain it to people that haven't been through true depression. You can't really explain it to people.
One more I want to ask you about a lyric, and it was the song that you played that I requested that Jay didn't get all the lyrics down for, that opened my show, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Always one of my favorite Sabbath songs and riffs. What can you tell us about that one?
That was Tony came up with the riff for that when we thought the band had gone as far as we could. We went back, I think it was after Volume 4, which was great. Great recording that, writing and recording that. And then we did this massive tour, and we were all like absolutely knackered. It's just like write an album, record an album, go on tour, come back home, write an album, record an album, go on tour, come back home, write. And it was just like non-stop for like 4 or 5 years, and we were all exhausted. But none of us could afford to take time off. We got together to write the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath album. We didn't have anything. And we always relied on Tony to at least come up with the first riff. And he couldn't think of anything. And we really thought that was the end of the band. And then we had a couple of weeks off. We said, "Let's just give it one more try." And Tony went, "Well, I've got this one riff." And he came up with Sabbath Bloody Sabbath riff. And we went, "Yeah!" That was it. And it started us up again. And the lyrics were about being horribly ripped off at the time.
My gosh, one of my all-time favorite riffs and songs, and it almost was like an afterthought. Like Tony didn't really think that was anything.
Well, he thought it was good, but he didn't know what to expect, because he thought like, well, if this isn't going to work, then we finished.
Right. Tony was on with me last week because he's promoting this period of Sabbath when he had Tony Martin as his singer. And there's a box set that's coming out, and that's what he was on with last week promoting with me. We always have great chats when he calls in, but I had forgotten. I started going through the materials for that box set, and I had forgotten that there was a period where you were part of that. You were with the Tony Martin era. It was the Cross Purposes album, right?
Yeah, Cross Purposes.
Yeah, I was telling Tony because that period, at least certainly here in America, was pretty off the radar for Sabbath. And there were a lot of people saying, oh, it's not even really Sabbath because Geezer's not there, Bill's not there, Ozzy's not there, Ronnie's not there, whoever. But you jumped in there for a little bit. What do you remember about that whole period?
Well, I'd started writing tons of stuff for a solo project, and I can't remember how me and Tony got back together because we lived just not far from each other. He was about 20 minutes away from where I lived. We were still seeing each other socially and stuff, and he was telling me about, he was wondering what to do next. And I played him some of the stuff I was writing, and he really liked it. And for the first time, it's sort of more of a collaboration than just Tony writing the music. And he liked what I was doing, which surprised me. And we got together like that, and we got Tony Martin in, and just went from there.
And Cozy Powell was on drums, I think, right?
Yeah.
So how did you like playing with Cozy?
It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a Bill Ward, but...
Right. Because that period for Sabbath, overall, when you look at that period, I mean, before you were a part of it, from an outsider looking at it, I mean, there were people that said, oh, Tony's dragging it through the mud. There was records, he's the only original guy, only one, no. Did you feel that were you okay with him doing that under the name Sabbath?
No, not really. I said in my book, it was like I call it fake Sabbath because I'm not in it. If I'm not in it, then it's not Black
Right.
Sabbath. But, I understood because none of us had any money. He had to do something. And he needed to carry on, after all the rip-offs we'd had, and we didn't have anything to show for anything, and he needed to go out. And when we did the Born Again album, we tried to change the name then, and Warner Brothers said, no, you got to go out as Black Sabbath. And I think that Tony's first album, without anybody else in the band, was supposed to be a solo album.
Yep.
But the record company says, no, it's got to be Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
And so he went along with it.
That was the record with Glenn Hughes, Seventh Star, which he is the only guy. Yeah, and he has said that many times. It's supposed to be a solo record. But I didn't know that you were considering it for Born Again, because Born Again, and I talked to Tony about Born Again last week, it's a record that always comes up. It's a record that was really, at the time, I think, by a lot of fans shit on for the sound, the mix, whatever. But in the 40 years that it's been out, it's taken on a whole new stature. People love that record now. And Tony was saying that they found the tapes and he'd like to put it out as a remix at some point and do something with it. But what do you remember? I mean, it's the only record with Ian Gillan singing, but what did you think about it at the time and how do you feel about it now?
I remember taking the tape home with me and I played it on my cassette deck, because it was cassettes back then. And then I was going, it sounds really muffled. You can't distinguish anything. And I went down to the studio a few days later and I said, this sounds terrible. And I thought it was going to be fixed because none of us were on the mix. And I just said, it sounds really muffly. You got to do something about that and bring it some sharpness into it. And we left it at that. And when we heard it again, it was too late. It was already coming out. But it's like old records that you get used to. It's like I don't like listening to remixed Beatles stuff because I remember the way it was in the 60s. So when I hear them remixed, it's probably technically better, but it's not the same thing to me. So I know what people mean by the way it is now.
I like when artists go in and remix stuff as long as they leave the original version intact. So you just get an alternate take on it, but you're not replacing the original version. That's always still there, so you put out a box set, the remix, the original one, maybe just remastered or something. But is that, if in the Sabbath catalog, all that you were a part of, if there was a record that you would want to have addressed as a remix, is Born Again the one you would want the most?
I think for Tony's sake, yeah, because Tony just never liked that mix.
Right.
And I know he wants to remix the whole thing. So, good luck to him.
And the one that was always kind of hit with controversy over the mix was Live Evil, the live album with Ronnie. But a couple years ago, that did get a remix. Did you have a chance to hear the remix?
I didn't listen to it.
Oh, you didn't? Because that was a controversial thing at the time, which you think you talk about in the book as well, where there was you guys would go in and do something, Ronnie would come in and change things, and
Plus, we didn't know that Ronnie had gone and got a solo deal. He didn't tell us, so he wasn't really. He was more interested in doing his solo album at that particular time.
My audience would love to talk to you if you're cool with taking a couple questions from them.
Yes.
Okay, last thing from me before we go to those calls. I asked Tony this question last week too. As you probably have read, Ozzy recently said that he didn't feel like Sabbath ended right because Bill Ward wasn't part of the final tour, and that he would love, even for a couple songs, while everyone's still with us, the original 4 guys to get up and play, even if it was in a club, just to do that. Your thoughts on that? Any interest?
Of course, there's an interest, but there's a big but.
What's the but?
You'd have to speak to Bill about it.
About if Bill would want to do it or is capable?
No, everybody wants to do it, but capable.
It's because of his health.
Yeah.
You think he'd even be able to do a couple songs?
I don't think so.
Really? So, but
maybe, I don't know. I mean, with the way technical things happen these days, maybe a couple of songs, but who knows? There wouldn't be any travelling involved. We wouldn't be actually all in the studio at the same time together. So it could be done that way, maybe.
Well, but he was talking about a live show, like actually playing on a stage for like a couple songs, even if it was in Birmingham at a club or a theater.
Yeah, Ozzy was hoping to finish it all off next year back in Aston, at the Aston Villa ground. But I mean, I'm definitely up for it.
You are up for it?
Yeah, to finish the whole thing off.
Right. But there's been dialogue, or this is just Ozzy talking?
Me and Ozzy have agreed, but I'm not sure about anybody else.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. So that's gotten to that point. So because in your book, you say that you had not talked to Ozzy.
Oh, yeah.
Have you talked to him?
Yeah, every day practically.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a development. So you guys everything's cool.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
there was a lot of miscommunication. He didn't think I was asking about his health, because I know he's been going through a lot of health problems. And I was sending all these messages to him, and they weren't being passed on to him. So he thought I was just ignoring him. And then the weird way, I had to go through Sabbath's accountant to tell Oz that I'd sent him all these things, because he did this thing in Rolling Stone saying that I hadn't been in touch with him about his health.
Right.
So I went through the accountant. He got in touch with Ozzy and said, "Geezer's been sending you stuff. He wants to talk to you," and we've been fine since that.
And what about Bill? Do you talk to Bill?
He's not on email, and I hate the phone. So I send emails to his wife, who passes it on to Bill.
Oh, wow. Well, I hope he's okay. I mean, I talk to Bill from time to time, and he's come on with me a few times. And so the last thing on this, it sounds like there's a little dialogue, and you're up for it. Would you, if everyone could do it at a decent level, because you got to throw Ozzy in that equation too. He's got a ton of health issues. But if everyone could do it, even for a short set, would you like to do what Ozzy suggested, the original 4 guys for even a few songs?
I'd love to do it. Absolutely love to do it.
Do you miss playing?
With them, yeah.
But not in general. Do you noodle around around the house on bass?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
It's like part of me daily exercise, and I don't go down the gym. I just go up to my studio.
Right. Because I know my part of you, that was one of the things that you were excited, you actually wanted to play, that just get up for a couple songs in front of an audience to play.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you probably not played for the last time. Do you think that's the case in front of an audience?
Who knows? I don't know.
Well, the fact that you're still practicing, you should do it for somebody.
Yes.
The idea of doing a new band, no more, right? No more Deadland Rituals, none of that. You're done. Retired.
It might be a GZR, but that'll be it.
Do you have stuff done?
Got tons of stuff.
And what's the status
Not
of that?
recorded, but
Written.
Written, yeah.
Do you want it? Do you have a plan for it?
I'd have to. It's got to be. I don't know. You know, I can say no one day and yes the next day. So
Right.
it's all down to what I feel like doing.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Geezer Butler is here. June 18th is the release date for the paperback version of his book, Into the Void, which is a phenomenal read, which has tons of stories and photos and all of that good stuff in it. You've probably maybe have already had a chance to read it. Maybe you haven't. So if you haven't, you want the paperback version. Again, you can get that in a couple weeks on June 18th. The audiobook version is out there as well. And Geezer has been nice enough to join us here in the studio and take some of my questions. And let's do a quick break and come back and let you talk to him. An extraordinary opportunity here to talk to a founding member of the most important band in the history of heavy music, Black Sabbath. Geezer Butler's here, 844-686-5863. We're live from Vegas, coming right back and letting you on the air next.
This is where rock fans go to voice their opinion on all things rock. Trunk Nation.
I'd never seen anything like it. The rock people were just crazy.
With host Eddie Trunk.
Very personable. It made me feel so special for calling in.
SiriusXM. Faction Talk.
All right, we have a little over half an hour left to go on the show today. What a week we have. Tomorrow, Blackie Lawless of Wasp, and on Thursday, Joe Bonamassa in studio, and also Thursday, Slash in studio. That'll be from LA on Thursday. Tomorrow will be on the phone. Today, we're inside the new SiriusXM studios in the Wynn in Vegas, and I'm joined in studio by Geezer Butler. Great stuff already from Geez, and just chatting and shooting the shit. I could eat up the whole time, of course, myself talking to him, but since we have him here in studio, he is nice enough to say, yeah, he'll take a couple questions from the audience. If you've had a chance to read the book and you have a question about that, that's all good. Again, June 18th, the paperback edition of the book is out. Our first caller is in Tampa. Al joins us right now. Hi, Al, you're on the air.
Hey, Eddie, thanks for taking my call.
Sure, Al, go ahead. You're on with Geez.
Hey, Geezer, it's a pleasure to talk to you. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you, Al. How are you?
I'm doing well. And my question is, it goes all the way back to the first album, and it's always been studied, like the sound of yourself and Iommi's guitar and just the overall sound. I mean, you guys went in there basically live in the studio and just played the songs, and it was recorded and and put out very quickly. But my question is, what gave you the ideas to go in, like your bass sound, like for instance NIB, to use a wah-wah and like distortion? What were you just experimenting, or did somebody give you kind of that idea to do that, or just something that popped in your head like this would be kind of cool to do this on a record?
Yeah, I used to do the intro to NIB without the wah-wah, and when we got into the studio, the producer says, why don't you try some like an effect on it? And of course, the only thing that we had that could do effects was Tony's wah-wah pedal. So I used Tony's wah-wah pedal just to give it a different flavor.
I mean, you guys were on a shoestring budget. That first record cost how much?
£500, which is like $700.
And how quickly did you do it?
2 days.
So there was, I mean, it's basically a live recording, would you say?
Oh yeah, we got in the studio. We didn't know we'd never been in a proper studio before, and we just went in, did it as a gig, and that we did the whole album, all the backing tracks, most of the songs, everything on the first day, and then the second day Tony did a couple of overdubs, and Ozzy finished off his vocals, and that was it.
All that being said, considering it was done so quickly and so inexpensively, when I hear the song Black Sabbath to this day, it's still the heaviest thing I've ever heard. Like sonically, I still think it sounds pretty good given the obstacles, right? Do you agree?
Yeah, I think because it was so pure, we did it without any effects or anything like that.
Right.
Apart from the church bells and all that stuff. But any overdubs on the music side of it, and I think that's why it still stands up, over the years.
Because back then, you're talking 1970, there wasn't like a bank of sound effects or anything where you could even recreate that. So the church bells in that, did you actually go to a church and mic a bell?
No, there was those, bells that you do with your drumstick. Bill did it.
Because it sounds like a big church bell.
It does, but it isn't. It's those, I don't know what they're even called, musical bells or whatever. Those
because
things,
not like a xylophone, but
like an upside down xylophone kind of thing. And
really,
Bill just did it along with with his drumsticks.
I mean, it again in today's production. Obviously, that would be something they just dial up in 2 seconds on a sound bank or something. But back then, I mean, I could have sworn it sounds like you're like in a bell tower recording that.
Nope.
And that is amazing given the restrictions on the budget. That it's that it's that good. Here's Tom, Long Beach, California. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Great to talk to you. I'm a recovering English teacher, and Geezer, I've always loved your words. And I was just kind of curious, what did you read when you were a kid? What turned you on when you were young?
Just stuff at school, wherever the school people gave us to read.
Oh, okay.
And then when I left school,
Right.
it was more like science fiction stuff and a lot of Dennis Wheatley stuff. The Devil Rides Out and all that kind of stuff.
Right on, man. Yeah, shoot. I figured some of it would come out in your words. It seems like it does. Great stuff, man. Thank you so much for all the music and everything.
Thanks,
really
Tom.
it.
Cheers, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Do you still read a lot?
I'm addicted to reading.
Yeah. Do you have favorite authors now that you read?
I like Ian Rankin for crime fiction. God, I could never think. Anthony Horowitz, I like him. A lot of crime stuff mainly.
Mm. Did you ever like to write a screenplay?
Nope. I'd like to write a book.
Yeah, a novel.
Yeah, I started one. I got about 80 pages in. I couldn't think.
You hit a wall.
Couldn't think, how to finish it.
Here's Mark in Texas. Hey, Mark, you're on with Geezer Butler.
Hey guys, Geezer, great to have you on. Love when I gotta say, Geezer reminds me of why I love British comedy. When you're talking about the whole thing with lighting Bill's beard on fire, and you just kind of said it. Yeah, we used to do it once a week.
Exactly.
That kind of
It's totally insane. It's totally insane.
I mean, I guess that's why I love Python. Found Python when I was back in the 70s. But anyway. Hey, real quick, I'll make this fast. We saw you guys on the 78 tour, and then we saw you on Heaven and Hell. In matter of fact, Dallas, Texas, Riot opened. And what did you? Two things I'd love to get your take on coming out of the Ozzy years, going into that first tour with Ronnie. Just simple summary observations on the difference from the end of Sabbath from the 70s going into the 80s there. And then also, what were your thoughts on when you first heard Ozzy with obviously Randy and doing Blizzard of Oz and all that, and just the energy difference and all that? Just love your thoughts. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mark.
I was really glad that Ozzy got himself together because he was in a really bad way when he left Sabbath, and just to hear his first album, we were all really, really glad for him that he got himself together and made such an incredibly great album. And as far as going on tour with Ronnie was incredibly professional, and he always said if you had to warm up before a show, then you shouldn't be singing.
Right.
And he didn't do 1 second of warm up before he go on stage, and he'd come out with that incredible voice, and he was note perfect every night. He was brilliant.
So, I've always said this. I mean, of course, everybody at the time was bummed that the original Sabbath was splintered, but the last couple records were not great. and you guys were already kind of falling apart there a little bit. And when you look at that period, it was kind of, I always looked at it as one of the rare cases where it was addition by subtraction, because you had Ozzy introduce the world to this incredible guitar player in Randy Rhoads, and this incredible material with Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake, and making those records. And then you had Sabbath, who were pretty much also, I think people forget, left for dead. And you make a brilliant record, in my top 3 favorite Sabbath records easily, in Heaven and Hell. And this whole renaissance with all of that. So, in a way, I mean, it was tough, I think you would admit, for everybody at that time. But somehow you both came out of the other end of it way better.
Absolutely, yeah. It was the best thing that we ever happened to us, to admit that it wasn't working the way the original band was, and it was either split up, forget about it, or do something different. And it was the best thing that ever happened to Ozzy, and the best thing that happened to us, because it gave us when Ronnie came in, it gave us all the confidence back, and he just brought this incredible atmosphere with him.
But Ronnie had told me that when he first came into the band too, that in the beginning that he would look out there and there was a fair amount of middle fingers at him, fuck you, where's Ozzy, where's Ozzy? Yeah. How long did that last before that started to dissipate a little bit?
Once people had heard the album, because I think we went on tour before the actual album had come out to promote it. So once people heard that, they were like, wow, this is incredible.
Right.
And I think people were against Ronnie for like about the first 3 songs, and then they'd see how great he was. And,
right.
It'd be fine after that.
Yeah. Talking live with Geezer Butler here on this post-Memorial Tuesday. We are live from Vegas. Geezer's autobiography, Into the Void, an exceptional read. It's been out there now for a little while, the paperback version being released on June 18th. Back to the phones. Here is Angelo joining us from New Jersey. Hey, Ange, you're on with Geezer.
Thank you so much, Ed, for taking my call. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, Mr. Butler. I just want to just tell you it is an absolute honor to speak to you, sir.
Oh, thanks, Angelo.
My question for you, thank you, sir. And my question to you, in 1988, you had joined Ozzy's tour in support of No Rest for the Wicked. Just curious, who reached out to who? How did you get that gig? And how was that whole experience like for you personally on that tour, especially not playing with Tony and reconnecting with Ozzy after all those years, with the exception of Live Aid in '85? Thank you so much.
Well, socially, we were as close as anybody could be. I mean, the kids, we used to go to each other's houses and the kids would play together. My sons loved Ghostbusters, and Jack Osborne loved Ghostbusters, so they used to play together. And it was sort of a natural progression. Ozzy just asked me one day if I'd go on tour with him, because he didn't want to go on with Bob Daisley anymore. So I said, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give it a go. And we had a great time.
Did you, that was Zach's first tour, I think, right?
Yeah.
Because No Rest for the Wicked was Zach's first record. What did you make of a young Zach Wilde back then?
He's the only person I've ever met that's more mental than Ozzy. He was completely wild. Lived up to his name, Zach Wilde.
Even back then.
Yeah.
That's when he was young and pretty. Now
yeah.
he's like a barbarian. But now he's sober. He's totally, he's totally sober, and has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Because he has blood clots, and if he drinks, he dies. So he went cold turkey one day, just stopped.
Same with me.
What was but you didn't have a health concern, right? You just decided to stop.
I was just being an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, Zach was, I don't know how much he remembers, but I've got stories for days with that guy. I knew Zach before he was Zach. I knew him, in his real name, and when he was playing clubs in New Jersey, So, he just, he had a great line one time when he was really, really drunk, and he was doing like just what we're doing right now, talking live on my radio show, and he was out of his tree, and somebody from the record label came over and tried to kind of like wrangle him in and pull him back a little bit and said, "Hey man, you got to tone it down." And he turned to the person from the label and he said, "Jesus Christ," he goes, "my name is Zach Wild, not Zach Mild." Because what the fuck did you expect? It's like, those were the days, man. He's way better to deal with now, but we had some fun times back then. He was off. I mean, the two of you guys must have been lethal together with Ozzy on that tour.
Well, Zach just outdid everybody. I remember this one night, he was in the pub next door to the hotel, and he was drinking, and they refused to give him any more booze. He was just completely out of it. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. So he got the glass, pissed in it, and drank it. And they threw him out.
Did you, I don't remember, did you play with them when they did the thing in Russia, the Moscow Music Beast?
Yeah.
You were in that lineup at that time?
Yes, unfortunately.
Why? Because of your liver?
Because I was so smashed out of my brains on the way over. And it was supposed to be like promoting
sobriety.
No. And me and Jason Bonham were just completely out of our brains on that thing.
Because you guys all took one plane to Russia together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the reason I thought of that is because I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a documentary on Hulu on Bon Jovi, and it's 4 parts, and it goes into that whole thing because them and Motley and you guys were all on that one big plane together going over there.
Yeah.
And it was really done something for like Bon Jovi and Motley's manager, Doc McGee, to help him get out of some thing he got pinched on with drugs or something, and the whole plane is fucked up going over there to make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely crazy. Let's go back to the phones here. We got a little time left to go. Geezer Butler is joining us, and we are going to say hi to Eric, who's in Buffalo, joining us live on Trunk Nation. Hey, Eric.
Hey, guys. Thanks, Eddie, for taking my call, and it's an honor to speak with you, Geezer.
Thanks, Eric.
Your anti-war and insightful lyrics make me very proud to say Sabbath is my favorite band. And thanks for recording the audiobook. I know you said it was pretty tough, but it really made me enjoy it.
Oh, good. Great.
So, my question, Paul McCartney released a book a few years ago called The Lyrics.
Yeah.
And basically he goes into the details about the meanings of the songs and the events that inspired them. Would you consider releasing a book similar to that? Because I would love to know from a Spiral Architect that one line, silver ships on plasmic oceans in disguise.
Yeah,
what
it's
the heck that means.
it would be a good an interesting thing to do. Yeah, whether it be published or not is another thing. But yeah, the silver ships on plasmic oceans was about fixing up heroin.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
You guys were you deep into that at that time?
No.
Oh,
used to snort it, but it didn't fix it.
Oh, wow. How did you know about it then? You saw people around you doing that?
Yeah. Everybody was, well, not everybody, but a lot of people were.
I've never done drugs. I didn't even know you could snort heroin.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was only something you could inject.
No, you can get it. It's a brown powder, and I mean, some of it comes in brown powder, and you sniff it like cocaine.
Does it have the same effect if you snort it versus inject it?
It certainly does.
I've never for somebody like for a band like you guys. When you read about the early Sabbath stuff and drugs, alcohol, everything that went on, it's got to be amazing for you where we're sitting actually in Las Vegas in 2024 to see like weed stores on every corner legally, recreationally selling weed.
No, God damn it. Oh, I didn't have that when I was a teenager.
I didn't have that when you weren't sober.
Yeah, I know you can get Guinness everywhere, and I can't stop boozing.
But there's even places in the country now that they're starting to advocate for legalizing mushrooms. You know,
I think Oregon.
Yeah, well, Oregon, that's might as well be another country there. That's a whole other thing going on. But yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, even me. I mean, I'm 59. I remember in high school people used to hide their weed, and now younger kids look at it like it's just like going to the liquor store. You might as well, you know.
Well, it's a lot safer than liquor.
Yeah.
I always said that booze is. If it was the other way around, booze would never be legalized.
So do you think it's good what's happening now, like with something like marijuana, that it's regulated and readily available?
Yeah, people are always going to have it, so why not make it legal?
Right. Let's say hello to, let's see here. Jeff is joining us from Wisconsin. Jeff, you're on with Geezer Butler.
Yeah, I was wondering if your worst concert that you had was Milwaukee for the Mob Rules when you get hit in the head with a bottle by some asshole.
It was, yeah. It wasn't a pleasant experience, especially when I ended up in the hospital with everybody wanting to kill the band.
Wait, take me through this. Well, Jeff, were you at that show?
Yeah, I got hit by a Milwaukee cop during it.
You got hit
They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't tell us that Geezer got hit, and they just booted everybody out.
Yeah, I got hit by a bottle while the lights went down right before NIB started. And I just started a couple of notes on NIB, and suddenly the blood was just like gushing out of me down my head. And I started fainting, and they rushed me off stage. And I had a big gash in my head. And instead of like going out and explaining what happened, the tour manager at the time, who was just he was Led Zeppelin's tour manager, and we borrowed him, and he came out and blamed. He was going, "This isn't 1776, you American," all this kind of stuff. And of course, he caused a massive riot.
Wow! So Jeff, you got caught in the riot?
Yeah, I was trying to leave, and I said something to a friend of mine, and a cop overheard me, and he hit me. Because I was trying to get the hell out of there because I didn't want to be part of it.
Yeah, when I got to the hospital, there was like all these kids in there that had been beaten up by the police, and I was like lying amongst them. And
How badly were you hurt, Keys?
It was just a big gash in my head.
So how far into the show was NIB?
Maybe third song, maybe.
Oh, so you only did a couple songs?
Yeah, not many. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Jeff, for the call. I did not know that story. I've talked about this with the audience before, though, being a kid going to shows. I mean, it's amazing the stuff people used to do. The big thing, of course, which is just crazy when you think about it, is throwing fireworks, throwing M80s or cherry bombs.
It used to be really bad in the early 70s. You get cherry bombs, people would be throwing the shoes at you and all kinds of stuff. Somebody threw a big metal cross at me once, hit me right in the eye with it, split my eye open. And as it like bounced off my bass and snapped the strings in half, and then bounced off the bass, hit me right in the eye, split my eye open, and I just had to go off, put a Band-Aid on my eye, and carry on with a different bass.
Yeah, I mean, that's because as a performer, when you're up there on that stage, you're in an arena, you're really only seeing the first few rows, right? You can't see beyond that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're blind for the most part.
Yeah.
And you think about it, I used to always be amazed because I grew up going to shows at Madison Square Garden and driving in or taking the train in from New Jersey, and the stuff that would go on was like, I remember a local rock station in New Jersey, in New York City, used to give out buttons, like metal buttons commemorating the show as you walked in. And then the next time I went, they had to turn it to little cloth stickers. I said, "Why'd you guys do that? The buttons are so cool." People were chucking them from the upper levels, and they were hitting people in the head and cutting their heads. It's like just dumb shit. But the fireworks thing was the worst because I was at an Iron Maiden show where one landed on the console, blew out a channel. Bruce Dickinson came out and yelled at everybody. I mean, an M80 is like a quarter stick of dynamite.
Oh, yeah,
It's not something to fuck around with. And if you listen to old recordings, whether they be bootlegs or even something like the Aerosmith live album, you hear them going off overhead before the band starts. It's nuts.
I think the 70s were particularly bad for that. And then you had the punk era came in, and they were throwing bottles at the like the Sex Pistols and things like that. People spitting on them, and it was like an accepted thing.
Yeah, it just didn't make it. Hey, let's all go to the concert and try to kill the performer. Like, the hell's the point of that, you know? It makes no sense. 844-686-5863 is our number. We got a few minutes left. Squeeze in a few more calls here. This is Chris joining us from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Chris, you're on with Geezer Butler.
Hey, Geese, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Chris. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much. I wanted to say, first of all, I'm #1 Sabbath fan. Struggled with depression my whole life, and your band has just gotten me through all of this.
Oh, great.
I saw you guys the Black and Blue tour in 1981, and I've been a super fan ever since. But I had a question a couple of years ago. I'm a professor, and I took some students to we went to Wales and then down into Oxford, and I didn't know at the time that we did an real quick overnight stay in Birmingham, and I freaked out because I was like, oh my God, this is where Sabbath is from. So we took a taxi and went to all the different places. We went to the Crown, we went to the Bull Ring, we went to, I think, where the movie theater was, where the Black Sabbath venue was there. But then when we went to your house, there was an Indian gentleman who met us at the patio and said that he was your neighbor, and that when he was little, he would hear you guys practice, and he still lives there. And I was wondering if you could corroborate that.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, the last time I saw him was at my brother's funeral. I went back to Birmingham for my brother's funeral, and he came. He was like one of the guests of honors at this funeral.
So the neighbor where you grew up, the house you grew up in, the person that was your neighbor is still there?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And Chris, was he like...
He's in 90, right? 90 Victoria Road.
That's right, yeah. We were 88, and he was 90.
And you were 88.
So, Chris, what did you do? Go on a tour of all the Sabbath landmarks there in Birmingham?
No, it was just a humanities tour, but we just did an overnight stay in Birmingham, so we only had 4 or 5 hours.
Did you go
I didn't do a whole lot of time to do research.
Did you go to
we went to, I don't think... Go ahead.
Did you go to the Sabbath bench and bridge?
I was just going to ask about that. There's a bench and a bridge, right?
Yeah, up in Broad Street.
Yeah, we went there first, and then we went to the, let me see if this is right, the Newtown Wellbeing Center. Was that the community center?
That's right, yeah. It's where we used to rehearse.
We went there, and we went to a place where the movie theater was, where there's a corral there now, and a International Center for Prayer.
This is
that where the old movie theater was?
Is this Aston? This is considered Aston?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is Aston.
Well, that's cool that they've got that commemorated. What is this? Is the Sabbath bench just marked in honor of Black Sabbath, or like your pictures on it, or what?
Yeah,
I'm not seeing
all the pictures on it and everything.
There's pictures.
Yeah, of each one of us.
And what is the Sabbath bridge?
The bench is on the bridge.
Oh, I see. So the bridge is also commemorated
Black Sabbath bridge,
to Sabbath.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to ask you this too before we grab another call and before we run out of time. One of the things that I talked to Tony about last week is this Black Sabbath ballet, which he told me you came to one of the performances.
Yeah.
In your wildest dreams, did you ever think Black Sabbath music would be a ballet?
Funnily enough, I suggested that in early 1970 when The Who came out with Tommy, and like all these bands were coming up with rock operas and everything, and Tommy was like the most successful one. And I said to Tony one day, we should do something like that, like something like a Black Sabbath ballet. And of course everybody, what a stupid idea. And now lo and behold, there's a Black Sabbath ballet.
What did you think of it?
Not a lot. I didn't get most of it. I mean, it's like, doesn't really, it's definitely not what I imagined a ballet to be. I'd have thought it was more like, to do with the lyrics and the whole Sabbath mysticism and everything. But like, there's one scene where the two ballet people kiss for like 4 minutes while they're dancing. I just didn't get that at all.
I don't know, like Into the Void is playing or something, and they're just kissing the whole time, or
yeah, it's really weird.
Well, Tony said that it's doing quite well, And I guess there's going to be some U.S. performance of
Yeah,
it.
next year. It's going over. It's in Europe at the moment. It's gone from England to Europe. Next year, it's going to be in. It's going to be slightly modified because there's hardly any of me and Bill talking in it. So they're going to readdress that. In fact, I'm talking to the guy next week. What I didn't like about it.
Well, it's great that you're getting some input in it now and can fine tune it a little bit. Ray in Maryland, go ahead, Ray.
Oh, thank you so much for this, Eddie. I really appreciate it. Hey, Geezer, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm very good, thank you, Ray. How are you?
I'm good, man. This is a real thrill for me. I've seen you live so many times, dude, with the original Sabbath lineup. I saw you twice on No Rest for the Wicked tour. And you're such an amazing bass player to watch. And the fact that you're beside the riff master, Tony Iommi, and I saw you with Zakk Wylde a couple of times, and my eyes were still on you because you go off on the bass, man, and your fingers do not stop moving. And it's just a real honor to talk to you, man. But I do have a couple of quick questions, and I'll take them off the air, the answers. What's your favorite out of your entire catalog? What was your favorite song to play live on the bass? And like if a certain part, like at the end of Iron Man's such an iconic song. The riff is insane, but at the end, I mean, it's all you, and you go off and make it this thing at the end, and it's all Geezer. And then my other question for you is, because you are a pioneer and one of the architects of my music, which is the soundtrack to my life then and now, who was your biggest influence? And thank you so much for this, Eddie, and thanks, Geez. You guys take care.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ray. So I guess first, the end of Iron Man.
Yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint any particular bass line that's my favourite. I like the end of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, for instance. It's a good one to play.
Yeah.
But they're all my babies kind of thing, so it's hard to pick your favourite.
Was it a shock to you that Iron Man became such a big song? Or did you feel it when you were doing it?
The whole thing was a shock to us. I thought we'd last about a year and never be heard of again. But yeah, it was amazing.
And Ray bringing up the influence question, which so many people always like to know, because it all trickled down from somebody before. So for you, who was it?
For me, it was when I saw Jack Bruce for the first time when I went to see the Cream.
Yeah.
And everybody was there to see Eric Clapton because he was the famous one. And I didn't know anything about Jack Bruce. And I was just mesmerised with his bass playing because I was a rhythm guitarist at the time. I never really thought about bass players. And he was the first one where I went, wow, this is incredible.
So Jack Bruce has actually inspired you to switch to bass.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you would have been do you play much guitar still now at all?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Did you ever write Sabbath songs on guitar?
Yeah. National Acrobat I wrote on guitar. Just different things.
Let's see if we can get one more in here before we got to wrap up. Here is John, and he is calling from North Carolina. Go ahead, John. You're on with Geese.
Oh, Eddie and Mr. Butler, thank you so much. I didn't think you'd put me on.
Well, get in here real quick before we run out of time. John, go ahead, bud.
Really fast. Okay, I'm in high school in St. Louis, and it's right around Christmas time, maybe even like the night before Christmas Eve, and a guy comes into Record Bar where I worked wearing a Black Sabbath shirt, and I commented to him, and he said, if you come by the house later tonight and this Honda's in the driveway, ring the doorbell. My friend and I did that, and you came to the door after your wife came to the door and gave us 2 T-shirts, and it was awesome.
Really?
Do you remember that?
How long ago was this?
1982.
Oh,
83?
yeah. You don't remember. That's the guy remember something 42 years ago.
Hey, you were having a Christmas party and two teenagers knock on your door. It was crazy, but I want to thank you. I can't believe I'm talking to you and being able to say this to you after that.
Was this in North? Hold on a second, John. Was this in North Carolina that this happened?
St. Louis.
No. I grew up in St. Louis. I grew up in St.
Oh.
Louis. So this is when you had a house in St. Louis,
Yeah.
and then like 2 years later, I'm working at a retail furniture store, and you go into Uncle Sam's next door, and I go to my boss. I go, I got to go say hi to somebody that I can't believe is walking in there. And you told me about getting back together with Ozzy, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I just had to say thank you for making that Christmas for me.
Oh,
I had
thanks.
the NEMS record version, and you signed the inside of it, and it was awesome.
Oh, great.
Well, the
That's
moral of
great.
the story.
I don't know if you would remember.
Yeah, well, John, the moral of the story it sounds like rock stars need furnitures too. You know, you need to buy furniture too.
Yeah, and I used to love living in St. Louis. It's great.
Yeah.
But,
well,
yeah.
your wife is from St. Louis.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the connection, and Gloria's sitting right here.
And the kids were born there.
Thank you, Gloria, for coming by today and bringing geese. It's awesome. We're almost out of time. I can't thank you enough. As always, anything you want to promote, mention, let people know about, anything coming up?
Just the paperback out June 18th.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully, maybe you'll play live, you think? Maybe again?
Yeah, I'm sure we will one day.
Somewhat. Sabbath, you think?
God knows. Ask God.
Well, I'm calling Bill. You said for me to call Bill. I will talk to Bill, see how he's doing. I'll check in with him. It's been a little bit. But I think everyone could safely say, even if it was a short set anywhere in the world, people would travel. People would make a point of it. People would come to you. Guys should do the Sphere. Come on, geez.
Well, on my own.
You get the boys together. Gloria's going to work on it right now. I could see. She's on her phone already. Listen, thank you so much. Seriously, appreciate it.
Cheers, Eddie. Good seeing you again.
You too. Thank you. The Great Geezer Butler, again, Into the Void, out everywhere on paperback, June 18th. Hardcover out there now. Audiobook out there now as well. And thank you all for listening. This is just the start to another huge week. Blackie tomorrow, and then Thursday in studio, Slash for an hour, and Joe Bonamassa for an hour from LA. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. We'll get started as usual, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, for Trunk Nation Faction Talk 103, or anytime, live or on demand on the SiriusXM app. And full video of this conversation will be coming to the app probably within a week or so. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks.